What up, boys? Travis here coming at you. All right, before we get started, I want to make sure you can see my screen. So you should be able to say what you should be able to see. Welcome. The free web class is about to begin. Before we get started, what I need you guys to do, type in the chat box yes if one, you can see me, you can hear me, and you can see the presentation screen. So you can just type in the chat box and we'll get rocking and rolling. Because I don't want to get rolling if you guys can't hear me, right? So, get you. What's up, Matt? Nice to have you on this evening. Get you, gotcha. Good, good. So you can hear me, you can see me, all that good stuff. Just want to make sure that is working. What's up, Patrick? Can you guys see my screen as well? Do you see the welcome? I want to make sure you guys can see that. And we'll let a couple more guys hop on here. How about now? Can you guys see that now? It'll be good to see me, of course, but I definitely want you to see my screen as well, so let me know. And we got more guys coming on line here. What's up, Sean, Shane, Nicholas, my man Mike? Go ahead and comment in, fellas. Still no screen. Are you on your phone? Anybody else see my screen? Anybody? Let's see here. I want to make sure you guys can see that. Anything coming through yet, fellas? Let's see. On phone, so I'm not sure if it'll come through on your phone or not, but we'll take a couple more seconds here, guys. Comment in if you can. You're just posting up questions. I'll be asking you guys to type in the chat box quite a bit during this this prezo, so I want to make sure you guys are engaged, working along the whole time. So comment in, fellas. We'll get started here in another minute or so. So let me know if you can see me, hear me, all that good stuff. Should be able to see my screen. Anything. Guess nobody wants to comment in. Cool. Nicholas, Mike, Matt, Gino, what's up? Sean, Shane. What you guys got going on? Can you hear me, see me? Can you see the screen? Anything? Nothing. Can and hear. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and get this thing rolling, fellas. Type in the chat box. Let me know if anything isn't going right. So, hopefully you can see my screen. But tonight, we're going to be going over the keys to nutritional freedom, all right? How to get leaner, stronger, have more energy, all without having to go on a strict diet, spend a fortune on BS supplements. I know I have in the past. Have to buy up a bunch of organic foods and have to worry about being 100% perfect with your food, all right? That's what I'm going to be digging into tonight, fellas, all right? Before we get rolling, okay? So this is the stuff that we're going to be covering tonight, all right? Clean eating. Is it the key to success? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to be digging into it a little bit deeper. I can tell you right now, a lot of guys that I talk to on a daily basis, they're eating clean, but they're not getting results. So is clean eating the key? Is it? I don't know. We'll go through it. Are you guys seeing this on your screen? Are you seeing the presentation pull up? Are you seeing like the actual screen before we get going? What I'll be covering? Do you guys see that? Or you just see my face talking? Let me know. But either way, we'll also be talking about how diets are actually killing you and what to do instead. Most guys have it ass backwards from what you think it is, right? And I'm also going to be laying down the truth on keto. I'm going to be talking about intermittent fasting and plus other nutritional trends. I know keto is like the biggest thing going on right now, right? So, Patrick, I'm not sure if you're correct or not because you're on your phone, but let me try this. So hopefully that works. I don't know if that pulled it up. How to type in comments. You just did it, my man Nicholas. That's how you type in the comments, whatever you just did. Cool. Got it. Does it pull up now, man? Hopefully. I reset it, so hopefully it's coming up now. But I'll wait 2 more seconds for you guys. All right, so now you can see it. All right, cool. And obviously, we're also going to be covering what really works, all right? I'm going to be sharing with you how to break it all down. I'm going to be giving you a lot of good information here, guys. Information that fucking works for nutrition. So it's up to you if you want to actually implement it. And I'll be giving you basically the clarity on the nutrition that you actually need to get results and keep them instead of doing the whole yo-yo type thing, right? And so know this, everything that I go through, you know, I'm not going to be going through some never before seen diet trick or anything like that. I'm not here to reveal anything that you probably don't already know. Well, maybe you don't know it, but I'm not going to try to sell you any sort of magic supplement. In fact, a lot of the stuff that I'd go through tonight is going to be the exact opposite of what you might have already heard, right? It's going to be about what works and what continues to work. I've proved it with hundreds of people that I work with in the real world. And when you put it to work, it works. It's super simple. It's not as freaking fancy or confusing as many guys think it needs to be. Like, it's super simple, right? When you break it down, right? And like I mentioned, I'm going to show you guys how to implement it, right? And for those of you that want to step up and take things to the next level, there will be a special opportunity for those that stay around, right? So before we go any further, you need to focus, all right? So you're on this right now. What's up, Michael? Kirby? Looks like everything is good to go. So you guys can see me, all that good stuff. So keep your focus on me, right? Give me a fucking attention, okay? And I say that nicely, but at the same time, I say that knowing how we live in an ADD world these days. So you watch 30 seconds of a video and then boom, you're already somewhere else. You're scrolling on your phone, whatever. So it's probably not even going to be 45 minutes with what I want to go over here. I'm going to fly through this stuff and we're going to work this stuff out. And like I said, give you clarity on this nutrition, right? But I need your focus, all right? So shut everything else down. Give me your focus for the next, 30 minutes or so. It'll be worth your time. I guarantee it. You're going to want to take notes. If you got something to write with, some of the things I'll be covering, you'll definitely want to go back to it and then participate. So everybody that's on here right now, okay, drop a line. What did you have for dinner this evening? All right, since we're talking about nutrition, drop in the comments what you ate for dinner. I'll give you guys about 30 seconds and then we'll move ahead. But hopefully you can see my screen. You can see me talking, obviously, but you can see my screen as well. I want to make sure of that too. So go ahead and comment in the chat box. Let me know what you had to eat. Spinach, fish, carrots, red kidney beans. Good stuff. Oh, spaghetti. We got a couple spaghettis. We got tuna. Man, oh man. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. Everything else is off, but this I had eggs, scrambled tuna. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, and keep commenting in, fellas. So I know you're with me. All right, I'm gonna be asking you guys, right? Cool. So before we go any further, in case some of you don't know who the hell I am, I'm Travis Stetzel, okay? Busy father of 2 daughters, strength coach for over 10 years now, entrepreneur of 2 businesses. So I own a gym. I do a lot of stuff online. To be honest with you, I have clients all over the world that I work with remotely, from pure beginners to I have a couple of professional athletes that I work with. So a lot of different people I learn. But the big thing is I've learned from some of the freaking best coaches that are out there. That's my man, Jason Phillips, my #1 mentor in regards to nutrition. That's what I've learned probably 90% of my shit from. I'm a certified N3 coach. That's basically Jason's thing that he's built. By far the best nutrition system out there. Done a lot of the precision nutrition, right? But yeah, there's been hundreds of clients I've helped over the years. And the big thing here, guys, the big fucking thing here, I know people with nutritional knowledge, but they have zero ability to actually apply that knowledge to the real world. In other words, you can go on websites, you can read all you want about proteins, carbs, fats, keto diet, paleo diet, whatever. Don't call yourself a coach until you've actually been implementing that into the real world and getting fucking results. That's like a pet peeve of mine. And I'm sorry if you're offended if I cuss, right? If you're watching this live now or you're watching on the replay, when I get passionate about stuff, I drop F-bombs. That's just who I am. And but that's one of the things that like really pisses me off when I see like guys trying to be coaches, like especially in the nutritional world, where they actually don't have a fucking clue of what's going on. So I just wanted to kind of give you that insight there, guys, on where I've come from with my nutrition, who I've learned from, and I continue to learn this day and age. Like I don't know it all. I'm continuing to learn. That's the thing. But I've had quite the diet journey. I've pretty much done it all. I've tried it all. I've experimented a lot. So I've done the Atkins. I've done strict bodybuilder, diet, the old, broccoli, brown rice, chicken, every single freaking meal type thing. I've done the strict paleo route. I've done intermittent fasting. I've done carb backloading. I've done it all. I've done it all, and I've messed around with it all, right? Oh, how do I use the chat option? Maurice, you just used it, my man. Just going through a couple of these here. Comment in real quick, guys. Again, I want to make sure that you can see my presentation screen here. So, like I'm referring to like pictures, different things like that. There's going to be some calculations up here for you guys. So I want to make sure that you can see that. So comment in. Still no screen. Patrick, I can't. I'm not going to go off you, man, because for some reason you're saying one thing. How to type in comments. You just did that, Nicholas. Can and hear. Does that mean, okay, I'm going all the way down here. I can see the list and the pictures that has all the no. Okay, yes, can see it. Just you now. Oh shit, my bad. I can see everything. Okay, cool. All right, so you guys can see the pictures. Okay, cool. Awesome. So we'll continue this thing. Can you see this? Can you see I've struggled too, just like you? Can you see my picture, guys? I want to make sure that's on there. Comment in if you can. Okay, Mike, My man Michael, he knows what's up. So I'm going off you. All right. So here's the thing, guys. If you've been struggling with your nutrition, if you've been trying to figure out what the hell works, I've been there too. I've tried the diets I've seen in the magazines and the books. I can tell you definitely through college, like I would go through, the convenience stores, whatever. I'd grab like the Men's Health, the Muscle and Fitness, whatever. And there'd be like sample meal plans in there, sample diets, shit like that. I've tried them all. I've bought numerous books that like lay everything out for you. Nothing really worked for me in the past, right? Tried a lot of the quick fix solutions. One I can definitely remember that I did um, was years and years ago. T Nation had this fucking crazy diet where it's basically just shakes, right? Basically, obviously you had to buy all their shakes, and so it's like this expensive ass protein and whatnot. But I tried that, and it was called like the shred diet or something like that. But I went through. It was supposed to be like 30 days or whatever, and so your only intake were like shakes, right? Had the worst gas, had the worst fucking cramps. It was just terrible shit. And I still see that stuff going on today, like isogenics. Yes, the velocity diet. Who commented on that? Yep, the old velocity diet. Made velocity with stuff coming out the other end, basically. But yeah, gotten scammed by the supplement companies. I've told this story numerous times where in college I dropped like $300 on a bunch of tubs of just shit, which I was sold the lie to, right? I've spent hours and hours on Google looking for the right answer. I can't even tell you how long I've spent on Google researching. And here's the thing about Google, and I'm sure comment in if you agree with this stuff, guys, is like you can get on Google and you'll type something in and you'll start reading on XYZ, and then the next thing you know, you're finding yourself on a different website that's totally contradicting what you just read. And so then you're like total mind fuck, right? And then you're like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? And so just confusion, and I mean, you get to that point, you obviously want to, kind of throw in the towel and just say, fuck it, I'm just going to eat whatever the hell I want and, screw all this stuff that I've been reading. I've been to that point. And so I know where you guys are coming from, right? But the thing is, I've done all the heavy lifting. So I've been through all that stuff. And basically, I've discovered what works, Like I mentioned, I've hired multiple coaches to coach me. Like, yes, the coach has a coach. And I believe in everybody needs to have a coach. My coaches have coaches. That's the thing. Like the more successful you want to become, like the more you have to bring people around you. And I mean that means, investing in yourself, right? And so my nutrition, as far as the journey that I've gone on, it never got pushed to the next level until I actually hired my own coach for nutrition, right? And so basically what that did, I mean, hire somebody that knows what the hell they're doing. It takes out the guesswork. It takes out wasted time where you're on Google searching this stuff, and instead you invest, right? You invest saving time, getting you to XYZ destination faster, right? And so I've done that, right? I've discovered by experience, right? So everything I'm going to be talking to you guys about tonight, everything that I'm going to be sharing, I do this myself, right? Like it's not shit that I just pull out of my ass that I was like on Google and I was like, oh, I think this is cool. I'll share this. It's stuff that actually works, right? And I've proven it through experience, right? Now I understand the framework of the nutrition and have been able to give back via coaching, right? So the key about nutrition, and you guys are going to learn this tonight, is it's not about a strict diet. It's not about a specific meal template. It's more so about framework, right? So we all have skeletons, right? We all have skeletons. We all have the same sort of bones, right? But we're all different. We're all different. So we think of framework as your skeleton, as your foundation. And when you get that right and you build off of a solid, strong foundation, that's when things work. And that's when it's it's universal for everybody. So that's what I'm going to be teaching you guys tonight, right? And so honestly, one of my driving missions is to forge lean, strong, athletic men, aka badasses, right? That's, in my mind, that's what a badass is. Somebody that's lean, strong, athletic. It goes well beyond just the looks. It goes on to the mindset as well, right? So having the confidence, the certainty in oneself to go out into your life and do whatever it is you want to do, right? And so that's my mission, guys. And I know the struggles that guys have with their nutrition. And so here we are now on this live web class to cut through the bullshit and get to what works, right? So everything that I pretty much just went over, though, like everything about me, whatever, none of that matters because it's all about you guys. It's all about you who's taking the time right now to figure this shit out. You're here, you could be, doing whatever else. And so here you are, you're here to learn, you're here to better yourself, and that's what really matters, right? So it's all about you and helping you change, right? So going into that, guys, I wanted to share a quick case study with my man Mitch here. Mitch has been kicking ass. When he first came to me, Mitch was very confused. He was stressed out through trying all sorts of different stuff. He was basically overwhelmed about his fuel. And fuel is what I call nutrition, right? Was trying to eat clean. That was the conversation that we initially had. I was like, how's your nutrition? Well, I'm trying this, but mainly I'm just trying to eat clean. I get that all the time, right? And I'll talk about eating clean a little bit more in depth here, but really had no clue about his intake. That's going to be something else that's very, very important that we talk about. But like many of you guys on here tonight, he's tried many different diets, supplements, you name it. None of that shit worked. And when it came down to it, Mitch didn't know what he didn't know, basically, right? And so it took him kind of breaking through his mental barriers on in learning what he needed to learn, right? Like he had this general knowledge, like he thought eating clean was the key, and obviously it wasn't getting it done for him. And basically in time we've been able to rewire his brain in regards to how nutrition really works. We've been implementing the framework, and he's been making some amazing progress with his nutrition. And so I wanted to share his success with you because Mitch, like a lot of guys are now, are in that same position that Mitch used to be in. And the thing is, we didn't do this through some fucking quick fix diet. Like he's only, a foot deep in his journey, so to speak. Like he has a long ways to go, but he's gotten the ball rolling, and it's not going to be some quick fix type thing where he's just right back to that starting picture, right? Like this is long-term success stuff, right? So hard pill to swallow here is right now you don't know what you don't know, right? And so I want you guys to answer a question here. Is this true or false? You're here now because you don't know what to do with your nutrition. Type in the chat box. I mean, obviously, if you did know what to do with your nutrition, then maybe you're just here because you think I'm really cool and you want to hang out. That's cool. But you're here now because you don't know what to do with your nutrition. Type in the chat box, right? I don't know diddly. So yeah, but honestly, guys, that's the first step to change, is just admitting I don't know my shit. I need help with my stuff. Let's get it rolling. Like, let's learn, right? Whereas there's conversations that I have with guys, and I ask them straight up, how's your nutrition? Oh, it's good. I know what I'm doing with my nutrition. Nutrition is not the problem. Training's the problem, or XYZ is the problem. And they just fail to, recognize they don't know what they don't know, right? So it's good to understand that, right? So you must be ready for change. Be ready for change that won't be easy. Be ready to do what you haven't done before, right? So we'll be going through all this stuff. If not, don't expect to change much, if at all. I mean, that's another thing. I talk to a lot of guys, and they're just stuck in this hamster wheel, stuck in this vicious cycle of just trying to do the same shit over and over and over. maybe I'll tweak it just a little bit, but you're initially doing the same damn thing over and over and over, and you're not getting the results, right? Like that's the definition of insanity, right? And so if you're not where you want to be right now, understand that change is necessary. Like we definitely have to change shit up, come at it from a whole different angle, which might not be easy at the start because you're more than likely used to a certain way of life, right? You're more than likely used to common habits and tactics and different strategies, right? That you're comfortable with, and so you're going to have to get uncomfortable and change things up, right? And that's what I'm here to help you with. And here's another case study that I want to share with you because Dr. Matt was actually um, a client who I damn near fired. And the reason I say that is because when we initially started working together, Dr. Matt, his wife, and my wife know each other very, very well. And he had, every time I'd run into him, he'd always ask me questions, and I'd give him a few, pointers and tips and a lot of stuff that I'm talking to you guys about tonight. And I'd bump into him, a couple months later, and he'd still be the same. He hadn't changed yet. And I'd ask him, "Did you do this? Did you try this?" And he was like, "Oh no, I was trying the same thing." He was stuck in that fucking vicious cycle because he thought it was right. He thought it was what was supposed to work, and there was just that initial resistance when I first started working with him, and he thought he knew what he needed to do, and obviously he was a little bit wrong. And it wasn't until he finally basically just started listening to what I was telling him to do, and he trusted the process, right? And sometimes you have to do that. And I'll tell you right now, with like nutrition, when nutrition is actually working, it's going to be slow and steady progress, guys. It's going to be slow and steady progress. If you get fucking six-pack abs in 6 days or 7 days or whatever it might be, it's more than likely too good to be true. You cheated, and it's not going to be very sustainable for very long. Instead, bank on the slow, steady progress. That's going to be the stuff that is sustainable because you build it off of a foundation, right? Whereas you try to build it too quick, more than likely it's going to crumble. But either way, wanted to share some another case study here with you guys on Dr. Matt, because there are quite a few other guys that I work with that give me that initial resistance at the start, and I don't want you guys doing that, right? Cool. So the unfortunate truth, which is fucking up most guys, is most of the nutrition most of what you probably know about nutrition is complete shit and only being taught because it's a moneymaker, right? So go on Facebook right now. Everything you see on there right now is keto, 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 keto. Keto is the magic fucking pill, right? Like, just do this keto plan. Comment in the chat box if you've seen a keto diet ad on Facebook recently, right? That's the big buzzword. That's what's selling. That's what's making money. It's crazy. And that's typically the shit that you're getting fed is what's going to sell the best, what's most appealing, quick fix shit, right? Like guys want results yesterday. And so that's what marketers, scammers, people that just want your money, that's what they're going to do. And it might be a $27 ebook, $19 ebook. Don't waste your money, guys. Don't waste your fucking money. Chances are you probably already have wasted your money on that stuff. So, but comment in if that's stuff that stuff that you've been seeing, right? See intermittent fasting on my feed. That's another one. And I'll be talking about keto. I'll be talking about intermittent fasting tonight. So, but the bottom line is, guys, like this stuff, it's not your fault. Like I was telling you, I've fallen prey to this shit. Like going back to college, I briefly hit on it. Some of you that know me have heard this story before, but I dropped like $300 at GNC one time. The reason I bought this shit was like because the label was the most eye-catching to me, and the dude that was on the label was like super shredded, and I figured, like, I made the connection. I was like, okay, he's on the cover, he says he takes it, like there's like a little bio on the back of the freaking tub, like this is the athlete, yada yada yada, he takes this like 3 times a week, whatever. And I got sold that shit. And so it's not your fault if that has happened to you, right? And so basically I'm here to, help cut through that bullshit, right? So good. What do we got here? Seen keto, all that stuff, right? So, I mean, it's just flooded. It's just flooded. So the real solution, guys, have an understanding of what you're doing and why you're doing it. Okay, so I'm gonna basically pull that back the curtains tonight and give you a little bit better understanding of how nutrition actually works. Again, like I was just talking about with like Dr. Matt, every single person that I've worked with that has gotten success has gone through a process, right? And so I'm not going to tell you, yo, you're going to get 6-pack abs in 4 weeks. You just got to do this XYZ plan. Like, it's going to take a process, right? Like, we got to dial this shit in. You want long-term results. You don't want to do what most guys do, and summer's coming or XYZ is coming, and so they fucking starve themselves and they, do some crazy thing for 4 weeks, and then next thing they know, they're right back at square one, right? And so you got to learn how to enjoy the process. The process is the result. It's a learning system too. And so you pick up different skill sets and whatnot. Surround yourself with support so you'll never fall off track again, right? Focus on what works and stay away from the flashy, hyped up gimmicks and quick fixes. So a lot of stuff that I've already been, hitting on, right? So time to clear things up for you guys. Are you guys ready for this? You guys still with me? Who's all still paying attention? Who's on it? Oh man, Mike is still here. Boom. Awesome. Let's get into it, fellas. All right. So the keys to gaining complete nutritional freedom. Let's talk about them, right? Number one is to stop with the insane diets. And typically this is like the clean eating stuff. All right. So 9 times out of 10, when I have a conversation with a guy, helping him break through, get the results that he wants, I'll ask about nutrition. And usually it's something that comes out of his mouth like, well, I'm trying to eat clean. I'm really cleaning up my diet. Well, more than likely that means that he's like trying to starve himself. So he's cutting a lot of his intake back because, I mean, that's natural to think. Like, eat less food, you should shred up, right? That's the key. Trying to eat clean. What the hell does that mean anyways, right? Like, there isn't a definitive meaning to it. I mean, you could say, I'm eating paleo. Like, I guess I don't understand what it is. It's like a blanket statement, right? Like, I'm trying to eat clean. Well, what does that mean? Like, eating clean Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday you blow shit up, like Thursday night, and then Friday you're somewhat clean, and then you blow shit up again on Friday night, and Saturday, Sunday are just a wash, and then, like, what does that mean, right? So typically with clean eating, like when guys fully go into clean eating, their mindset turns to, the 100% or nothing type mindset. So it's either got to be 100% clean or nothing, right? And so let's say you started on Monday where you're like, all right, I'm giving up all the crap, all the processed stuff. I'm not going to go through the drive-through. I got all my food prep, yada, yada, yada. You go through the week, Monday through Friday is good. Saturday, freaking party comes up and you break down and you have something bad and boom, failure, right? And so when you have that type of mindset, it's very, very hard to stay on track and be consistent with that because it's not sustainable, right? So it's no fun. It's restrictive. You become the fucking guy in the corner at the party that's like munching on his lettuce wraps or whatever, right? So, and again, like I mentioned, it's confusing, it's overwhelming, and it's not sustainable. Like the clean eating, 100% clean eating thing, very unsustainable, right? So let me share another case study here with you guys of my man Doug. Doug, when he came to me, this is exactly what he was doing. He was eating clean. He was doing the whole, I'm not sure if any of you guys have heard of like the whole 30-day challenge. It's very, very famous in CrossFit gyms. It's basically a Band-Aid, right? And so The whole concept of it, 30 days, you eat as clean as possible. You have a list of foods that you can eat, and then you have a list of foods that are like untouchables, like sugar, alcohol, all this stuff, right? And so when Doug first came to me, that he had done that like 3 different times, right? Each time he got some results, but as soon as the challenge was over, fucking right back to where he was, not eating clean. And so it wasn't sustainable. So over the course of 30 days, he was basically fighting willpower and just running off of discipline. I mean, you have to have some sense of discipline and willpower, right? But sooner or later, that willpower, it's going to run out. And then what, right? And so my man Doug, he was doing this. On top of that, he was training like a madman. In regards to the clean eating that he was doing, it wasn't properly giving him the fuel that he needed. And when we looked into things a little bit deeper, he was basically eating less than a girl. Well, he was eating less than a lot of the girls I work with were eating. And so that was an eye-opener to him when we started doing that. We started basically fueling his body accordingly, where it's not all clean eating, but he's still getting results. And again, this is just the beginning for my man Doug here. So he basically said F you to the quick fixes, right? So here's the thing about clean eating, guys. What if I told you no food is 100% off limits, all right? So we got our greens over here, and then we got like our cheat foods. So we got our clean food and our cheat food, right? Donuts, pizza, fries. What if I told you, this last week, let's see, Saturday night I had a shit ton of pizza. Friday night I typically have my cheesecake, and I actually have sweet potato fries, and I have this glorious meal from Cheesecake every single week, every Friday. Yeah, so had pizza Saturday night. Thursday night, I actually had, I went out with some friends for a birthday, and I snuck in another slice of, well, I didn't have the whole thing, but it's like half cheesecake. But either way, guys, stop like putting food in these categories, okay? And you'll understand a little bit more about what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying, yeah, have complete freedom on eating complete shit and have pizza every single day. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying here is it's all about balance, right? So instead, look at it like this, guys. Okay, we got our clean foods, right? So clean foods should be 80 to 90% of your intake. Like 80 to 90% of the food that you take in should be clean, whole food sources, like paleo, right? Is it fit in the paleo scheme? It fits in the clean food realm, right? Whereas the cheat foods, the donuts, the pizza, the burgers, different things like that, 20 to 10%. If you want to dial things in a little bit more, like 10% of your intake can be that processed shit, right? Obviously, the cleaner your food is, the healthier you're going to be, the better off you're going to be that way. But if you happen to have some pizza, burger, whatever here and there, it's not going to freaking kill you, right? So balance it out. 80-20 or 90-10 rule. That's a principle you should live by, right? Next, stop relying on tactics. What do I mean by tactics here, right? So keto, the keto craze. I'll tell you right now, keto works, but keto is a lifestyle philosophy of eating, if you will, right? And so basically all keto broken down to its parts is 70% fat. So 70% of your intake is coming from fat, right? 5% is coming from carbohydrates, and then the rest you have left is coming from proteins, right? And the only way keto works is if you're actually in ketosis, right? And so I've had a conversation with a lot of different guys who want to do keto. I'll ask them, do you like carbs? Do you want carbs as a fuel source? Like, do you enjoy having carbs in your life? Like, do you want to have a slice of, pizza here and there? Do you want to have some birthday cake when it's your child's birthday? No, you're in ketosis. You can't do it, right? And so those are some questions you're going to have to answer if you're looking into keto. And keto fits specific type of lifestyles. Like if you're somebody that just wants longevity and health and you're very, very unhealthy right now, like keto might be, the good fit for you. But again, Keto is only a tactic, right? And you'll understand a little bit more about this here in a second when I get into it a little bit deeper. Same thing with paleo. All right, paleo works, but it's a tactic. All right, it's a philosophy around eating. So if you eat paleo, that means you only eat certain foods from the paleo list, right? You know, meats, veggies, fruits, pretty much no grains, right? If you're full on paleo, no grains, no legumes, no dairy, no alcohol, no processed foods of any sorts, right? So paleo works, but again, it's only a tactic. It's an eating tactic, right? So in other words, if you're eating keto, it doesn't automatically mean you're going to get results. Same way with paleo, right? Intermittent fasting is not the holy grail that it's painted out to be. All right. And this is another one. Like, I'll have conversations with a lot of different guys. Travis, I'm intermittent fasting, but I'm not seeing the weight loss. Right. I initially saw weight loss when I was intermittent fasting. I'm not anymore. Right. The effects have worn off. Or there's guys that just simply think because they skip breakfast, nothing else matters. They should lose weight because that's what the intermittent fasting gods are claiming, right? Not the case. Carb backloading, same thing. It's just a tactic. Basically, in short, all carb backloading is eating all of your carbs at the end of the day. It's a great tactic to use to help sustain energy throughout the day. Same thing with intermittent fasting. But again, it's a tactic. Just because you're using that tactic doesn't mean that you're going to be getting results. And the thing here is guys rely on these tactics just because they're claimed to be the end all be all cure for nutrition doesn't mean that they're going to work, right? So I want to share this next case study with you. My man Shane, okay. When Shane and I first started working together, one of his big, like, he was full blown like intermittent fasting, like he loved it, right? And so it worked great in the beginning, and then he basically hit a huge plateau in the middle. And he was one of the guys where he just wanted to keep battling, like, I'm doing this intermittent fasting thing, like, I've read the research, it's supposed to work. And he was basically missing a couple of key big details, right? And so basically what I'll be sharing with you here next, guys, is we got him dialed in. We got him dialed in on his nutrition. We were able to keep intermittent fasting in play, but we added in what I feel is the number one factor in regards to getting results for you with your nutrition. We added that in, we dialed it in, and that's when he started to get results, right? And so you can see the two pictures here side by side, what a difference that made, right? And so that was after we dialed things in, you know, amongst training and a lot of other things, but nutrition was one of the big factors there, right? So tactics work, but tactics are nothing but quality and timing. So we talked about it, like keto, and well, keto is basically more of just a philosophy of like how you arrange your macros, right? Paleo, it's all about quality foods. And then you got like intermittent fasting, carb backload, and you can even throw carb cycling in there as well. They're all timing type things, right? So those are tactics, right? If you want success, guys, you got to take the tactics plus strategy. All right, strategy. And that's what I'm going to be going over next with you guys. And that is the key to success, and basically having a method behind the madness to what it is you're doing. So if you're doing keto, great. Why are you doing it? Do you understand why you're doing it? Do you understand how it works? Right? Same thing with, you know, carb backloading, intermittent fasting, right? So let's go in to what truly is important, right? Number one thing, guys, quantity. Quantity, all right? So this is something that a lot of guys tend to overlook. The calories in, calories out, and then the breakdowns of those calories. Quality, 80, 20, 90, 10. I already talked about that, right? That's number 2 on the totem pole. It's not the number one thing, right? Just because you're eating paleo or you're eating clean, it doesn't mean that you're going to get the results you want. Timing, It's actually number 3 thing on the totem pole here. Carbs, fats, proteins, right? Supplements. I'm not even going to hit on supplements in this presentation. No need to, right? Unless you have your nutrition fully dialed in, you know exactly what you're doing with your nutrition, you shouldn't even worry about supplements. Like, save your money. Save your money, spend it on organic foods, like spend it on, pricier foods. Don't bitch about healthy foods being expensive when you're spending, $100, $150 on supplements a month, right? And that's a waste of money, especially if you don't have your nutrition dialed in, right? So that's the totem pole, guys. Quantity is at the top, right? And the truth is, most guys have it ass backwards. So they think supplements are like the magic key, right? That is not the key. The key is quantity, all right? Quantity, quantity, quantity. Cows in versus cows out. All right, this is the boring stuff. This is the stuff most guys don't want to pay attention to. All right, so you got your cows in, your cows out, and then the breakdown of those macros, right? That is important. Must be fueling your body in accordance to your goals, okay? Just to ask you guys a quick question here. Hopefully you guys are still paying attention. How many of you guys actually know how much you should be taking in? To back that up a little bit more, how many of you guys watching this right now, either live or on the replay, know how much you're actually taking in? Meaning you're tracking your intake. Do you track your intake on a consistent basis? Have no clue. I know what I am taking in. Have no clue. Do you guys have any idea of where you actually need to be? That's another question, right? So in regards to like the goals, obviously you got to be in a deficit. If you're trying to lose weight, lose fat, just makes sense, right? Surplus if you're trying to be, better performance, if you're trying to build muscle, if you're just trying to maintain, you don't care about gaining weight, whatever, obviously you need to meet that, right? But the thing is, guys, quantity, when it breaks down to quantity, what the cool thing is about the quantity is it's science, and it's been proven by science, right? But I know with anything involving science and numbers and different things like that, it can be confusing as fuck. All right, and so I'm going to help you out with this, guys. So the question becomes, how much? How much, right? So I could easily just spit out some numbers for you guys, but it's not that easy, all right? It's simple, but it's not that easy, all right? So let's go through it. So here's the thing, guys. When it comes to the amount that you need to be taken in, it depends. If you ever run into a coach and you ask him, how much should I be taking in? And he quickly just calculates up some numbers and gives you some fucking random numbers, go the other way, because that coach doesn't know what the fuck's going on, right? There's a lot that goes into calculating up where you actually need to be if you want to be accurate, right? You can go online, you can find a lot of generic calculators to calculate up your macros. Does that mean those macros are the correct macros for you? Absolutely not. And it's hard to say. And so as a coach, this is one of my favorite replies because it's the truth. It depends. It depends. It depends. It depends. Okay. And so what does it depend on? Number one goal. So with the number one thing here, main number one goal. Okay. What do I mean by that? You can't say I want to lose fat and build muscle. Okay. Reason you can't do that is because you can't lose fat and build muscle at the same time. Okay. Ask me this like 6 years ago, and I would have said, yeah, you can lose fat and build muscle at the same time. But I was an idiot back then. I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. But now, here's the thing. You got to be in a deficit to lose fat, okay? You got to be in a surplus to actually build muscle. It's science. It's how the body works. Now, tell me how you can be in a deficit and in a surplus at the same time, right? You can't be, right? And so the key here is, and this is the question that you have to ask yourself right now, what is your number one goal? What do you want to achieve right now? I'll get a lot of guys that say that I have this conversation with, and I'll ask them, and they don't fucking know. Like they're like, I want to build like 10 pounds of muscle, and then I'm going to shred down. But they're currently at like 20% body fat. Like they're fat. Like they have visible fat. They can't see their abs. And so they want to build this muscle, but then turn around and try to shred all that fat off. They're just going to lose all that muscle that they just built. All right. And so what I typically recommend starting off, getting yourself to the point where you're satisfied with your body composition. When you do that, you get healthier. Okay. You lose all the excess fat, but you get healthier internally. You clean up some hormonal issues inside. You become a more efficient machine, so to speak. You're going to be able to build muscle easier when you're a lot leaner. So I typically say get lean first and then build. Don't do this bulk and cut bullshit where you're just getting as big as you possibly can, as fast as you can. Instead, and there's guys that are for that, right? If that's you, cool. Do the whole bulk and cut bullshit, right? Like live in that cycle. Live in that shit cycle where, you're getting fat, unhealthy, and then you just got to turn around and do the same thing, right? I'm all about the long-term game, right? Long-term game. Slow, steady, consistent results. And you basically get yourself to a point where you're lean, where it's very, very easy. So maybe you go on a 6-week or 12-week build, and then you want to go in the opposite direction. And you're always at that point where you're ready. You're ready. It doesn't take, a long time to get to wherever it is that you want to get, right? So either way, you got to answer that question, guys. And here's another one. I'm guessing not a lot of you guys are CrossFitters or whatever, but here's another one that I get common around this time of year. CrossFit Open starts Thursday, all right? And I'm just sharing this with you to put it in perspective, but I'll have guys come to me who want to shred fat but do amazing in the CrossFit Open. And I tell them, dude, to shred fat, you have to be in a deficit, but to push your performance, all right, to get stronger, to get more fit, to push things to the next level, recovery is the key. You have to be in a surplus, okay? And again, you can see where that conflicting point of shit is happening. Do you want to lose fat or do you want to kick ass in the open? You tell me, right? You can't do both, right? And so again, one of the important questions that you have to answer for yourself, what is your number one goal? Okay? That's the big determiner right there. That's like the number one thing. From there, we got to look at your current lifestyle, right? Are you going out a lot, spending late nights out with your buddies, drinking beers, not getting much sleep? Or are you, the guy that gets his sleep, that eats healthy, that, is taking care of his body, right? A lot of those things go into play. Past history with nutrition, all right? This is another very, very important one. What types of diets have you gone through before? Are you the type of guy that has starved himself for long periods of time? Are you the type of guy that, like me at one time, that was so fucking scared of carbs because I thought carbs were going to make me fat that I was basically doing the Atkins diet, right? Because I thought adding more carbs or having carbs like during the day or whatever was going to get me fat. Like I was at that point. And so if you're somebody like that, your intake, it's going to be tweaked and modified due to that, right? Gender, weight, height, age, all that stuff. That's the generic stuff that you can get, right? Training type, typically most generic calculators are going to ask for that. But they're very shallow in that. It's like, what type of exercise are you doing? Like intense exercise? Well, that's really dependent on the person answering the question. So many people, they're like, hell yeah, I'm training fucking ham, like intense, right? When really it's not actually that intense. So again, there's like specific details that need to go into that, right? And it just depends, right? And most importantly, current state of health. And so what I mean with this is kind of going back up to like the current lifestyle, like with your current state of health, are you healthy? Is everything internally working correctly? Like, are your hormones in check, right? Is your metabolism Is your metabolism properly working? All right, and this is the big key that I wanted to hit on before I went into, you know, actually showing you how to calculate up your numbers here. But you must have a healthy metabolism. That's where you always want to start off with, right? Do you have burned out coals, or do you have a big ass fire? These are like the two ways I want you to look at your metabolism, right? So over here we got burned out coals, and type in the chat box. Let me know, guys. Are you burned out coals, or you got a big ass fire right now? So burned out coals. These are the symptoms. These are the feelings that you're going to be having. So low to no energy, very consistent during the day, or maybe you get halfway through the day and then you're just dragging ass. Low sex drive, shitty performance, both in the gym, out of the gym, right? Little to no hunger. Weight loss has stopped. No change in body composition, even though you're starving yourself and you're thinking you're doing the right thing, right? And what I know, what a lot of guys do, they starve themselves to the point where, okay, they're not losing any more weight, and so they binge, they go way off the wagon, and again, you're going through that vicious cycle, right? So, do you got some burned out coals, or you got a big ass fire right now? Are you somebody that's hungry all the time? You got high energy consistently. Your performance is consistent. You're getting the gains that you want, seeing weight loss consistently, easy to lose weight, drop fat when you want to. Got a good sex drive, and you eat lots of food. You eat lots of food. It almost feels like an extra chore in regards to eating food, right? A couple different ways to look at your metabolism, right? And so if you're on the burned out coals, right? Like your intake, where your numbers are, that needs to go into, you know, determining where you need to be. Same thing with if you got a big ass fire, if you got a metabolism that's freaking rolling, that needs to be taken into consideration. And there is not a generic calculator out there that is going to give you that feedback, right? So case study here, another one I wanted to share with you, my man Cody. He was eating paleo when he came to me. He was training at a CrossFit gym, and they traditionally did the whole 30-day challenge, and they do these eat and go clean challenges, whatnot. He was basically following paleo to the T, right? His eating was on point. He did not cheat. He was paleo to the P, right? Performance was suffering when he came to me. Wasn't gaining any strength, wasn't seeing any gains. Started to track and eat more. That was one of the biggest things that we did. That's when we discovered that he was actually, in fact, eating less than a lot of girls that I work with were eating. And that's a common trend with a lot of guys that I work with is we'll look at their actual numbers of when they first start tracking. They'll be like, dude, you're taking in fucking 50 grams of protein a day and you're training your ass off, right? But either way, gains. These pictures, 30 pounds difference in these pictures. 30 pounds. And Cody kept his abs as we added mass on him. All right. Pretty impressive. This was a slow process. This wasn't 12 weeks. This wasn't 8 weeks. This wasn't 18 weeks or anything like that. Like it was a process, right? So I'm not going to sit here and be like, we did this in 6 weeks, right? You just took this supplement, right? Bullshit, right? But slow, steady gains, focusing on the shit that works, right? Intake. We dialed in his intake, okay? So this is the part where you might want to get out your pens and pencils. We'll go through some stuff here and help you at least get some things set up, right? Because this is the question that I get a lot. So where to start? How many calories, guys? All right. So this is the generic formula. So I did want to give you a little bit of beef to the stuff I've been giving you tonight, right? Been giving you the skeleton, so to speak. So let's put some beef on that stuff. So the generic formula for total calories of what you should be taking in, right? So body weight, your total calories equals body weight or your ideal body weight. So if you're somebody that has a lot of fat to lose, you might want to think of like an ideal body weight number in your head, right? So you're going to take your body weight, your current body weight in pounds, times 10 to 12 for fat loss. And again, this is fucking generic as hell, right? But again, I wanted to share this with you. For some guys that I work with, I actually use this formula to start off, but I actually have another formula that's a whole lot more in depth. But even then, after I figure out the numbers, there's a lot more that goes into it, right? And so you use that. 13 to 15 is basically what you use for maintenance. 16 plus is for muscle gain and performance, right? And so I'm going to use an example here. Me, 185 pounds by 16, 2960 is my base level calories, right? Next step, your goal. What's your goal, right? Is it fat loss? Is it maintenance? Is it gain and performance, right? So fat loss is going to require a deficit, and I go anywhere from minus 300 to 500 calories to create that deficit. If you're just neutral, maintenance, you're just going to go off the calories that we just figured out. Surplus is going to be muscle gain, performance, so we got to fuel our performance. That's going to be anywhere from 300 to 500 calories, right? And so using my example, 2960 plus 500, that brings me to 3460, right? And that is right around where I am today. Next question, though. So we got our calories, right? So I'll go back to this real quick. We got our calories. So remember this number, 3460. I got it all down so you don't have to worry about it. How much protein? That's the first thing we need to figure out. How much protein? So we got the calories. Okay, calories are the overall energy that we need. Now we need to break them down into macros, right? Less than what guys think. I used to be the guy eating like 300 grams of protein a day. Okay, you don't need that much. 0.8 to 1.2 grams per pound of ideal body weight. So again, whatever that ideal body weight was for you, that's what you're going to do. I typically say moderate to higher for fat loss. So anywhere from like 1.2, 1 gram. If your goal is fat loss, especially if you have a little bit more body fat to lose, you're going to want to start on the higher end because your carbs are going to be a little bit lower then. But it just depends, right? Lower for performance. The reason you want them lower is because you want more energy coming in from your carbohydrates. But again, it all depends, guys. These are just generic things that I'm giving you here, right? Example, 185 by 1 gram per pound, 185 grams of protein, right? So basic. Now, what about fats, right? Fats. Do fats make you fat? Absolutely not. An influx and surplus of calories does, right? Energy in, not burning the energy, that's what makes you fat, right? Not just because you're eating fat. It all comes down to the overall balance, right? I typically go anywhere from 20 to 30% of total calories. I'd say 75% of the guys I work with are right around in this range. If you're going keto, you go up to 70%, right? Surprise, surprise. It depends, okay? It depends on your goals, the percentage that you want to go at, right? Example I'm using, I'm going 25% because I want a lot of my calories to come from carbohydrates, and so I'm going to drop my fats a little bit lower. And so the way you calculate that, guys, 3460, these are my total calories. I take that by 25%. That gives me 865, okay? That's the calories of the fat. To figure out the grams of the fat, I need to divide that by 9, and I'm rounding this stuff up. I'm getting like, decimal points here, so I round it to 95 grams of daily fat, okay? Then we get to add in our carbs, all right? So we basically just fill in the gap with what we've already figured out, right? Just to let you guys know, carbs are not essential, but essential for performance and recovery if that's your number one goal, right? And I will go as far as saying carbohydrates are essential if you're wanting to train at a high level and also shred fat, all right? That's another important thing to think about, right? Just because You know, everybody's in this mindset like low carbs equal fat loss. Like, not necessarily. Like, I have a lot of guys that I work with that eat a shit ton of carbs who have gotten lean and shredded, right? For intake, you fill the gap with what's left to hit your daily calories, all right? Again, how many carbs should you be having? It just depends. But for this example, this is what we got. So I have 865 of fat, 740 for protein. Those are the calories that I had for those two. So that gives me 1650 for the calories already taken. I take that from 3460, okay? And that leaves me with the total, which is 1855. And to figure out how many grams that is, I divide that by 4, okay? Gives me 465 grams a day of carbohydrates. And that's actually right around where I'm at right now. I'm actually at 495 right now. So 495 grams of carbs a day. Because again, my goal is performance. My goal, I'm getting ready for the CrossFit Open, which starts Thursday. And so I'm fueling myself for that particular goal, okay? And this was just an example, guys. So putting it all together, protein, 185 grams, fats, 95 grams, 465, okay? These are baseline targets, guys, okay? So I did the formula. I used this generic formula. This gives me my macros right here, 185, 465, 95, right? Now, if this was like a prescription that I was giving you, the next step is basically to hit your fucking numbers. That's the easiest way to put it, right? Dial in on your targets. You hit them daily. You get consistent with hitting them. It's very, very simple. Not always easy. It's not always easy to hit those numbers spot on, right? But when you do it this way, it gives you a specific target, right? And so for that to happen, you need to track your nutrition. You need to know where you're at intake-wise, right? When you do that, you're pretty much guaranteeing yourself results instead of like playing the guessing game, right? So this gives you certainty. This gives you a specific target. Whereas like if all you say is like, I'm eating clean, right? I'm eating clean. I hope that works, right? Like you can eat clean, add that in with specific set of numbers, boom, you're golden, right? Or if you want to eat keto, let's say keto, boom, get a set of specific numbers, add it together, boom, there you go. That's what it takes, guys. That's what it takes, all right? And so are any of you guys overwhelmed, confused? I went through that real quickly. Go ahead and comment in if you guys are. If you're with me, drop a line. Let me know if you're still here. Maurice, my weight loss have stopped. Need to get consistent with what I eat. Burnt out coals, but eat on a regular basis. Just reading some comments earlier. But yeah, guys, let me know. Are you guys confused? Are you overwhelmed on this stuff? I know it's a lot of info quickly. Consistency is the key, is ultimately the key. But yeah, those are just generic, basic formulas, right? Just to give you kind of a starting point. But yeah, guys, here's the thing about all that. Okay, so a lot of what we just went over, it's like the nutritional piece, right? The next piece that I want to really go over here to make this stuff work is in regards to your environment, and your environment matters. And I'm going to use another case study here with my man Rich, who every time I share his story, sometimes it gets a little hard to share it. But when I first started working with Rich, I mean, he basically came to me, and I mean, he had a doctor point him right in the face and say, dude, if you continue to do what you're doing right now, you're going to die. And when he first started, I mean, he was in a very, very bad spot. And where he is now, I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. And so it's a huge testament to the environment that he's surrounding himself with. So Quick picture of Rich right here. I mean, we joke about it. Rich is a part of the brotherhood, right? And so this is the online um, system that I have, and we joked about him because he posted that picture, and I was like, dude, is that your brother? Like, I don't even think that's you. And so here's another picture of him. This is Rich. Rich used to be over 300 pounds at one time, and today he's a consistent 220 pounds, lean, like super lean. Like this is a picture of him recently. This actually isn't the most recent picture of Rich, but I mean, he's made an amazing transformation, and the way he's done it through nutrition. He started off clean eating, and truth be told, the heaviest he was 340. He did clean eating, got him under 300, and then he was stuck at 280. And that's when I started working with Rich. He came in, he was at 280. We dropped 60 more pounds consistently to where he's here now. Dude eats 400 plus grams of carbs on average daily, has his shit dialed in, right? And it's not all perfect. It's not all freaking, clean eating. Like this dude, trust me, he eats what he wants, right? And he's got it dialed in. And the way he's done that is he's surrounded himself with the right type of people, right? So putting it all together here, guys, all right? So just quick rehash here of everything we really talked about. So stop thinking it's all about clean eating. Like, yes, clean eating is important, but it's not the number one thing. Stop relying on a tactic or a quick fix gimmick, all right? Just because it's keto doesn't mean it's going to fucking work, right? Just because you're carb cycling or carb backloading doesn't mean it's going to work. Those are tactics. You have to have a strategy behind the tactics. That strategy is knowing what your quantity needs to be specifically to you and your goals, right? Plus have this one other thing for success, and that's what I just went over, which is you need to get a support system. Get a support system with other people that know what's going on, with people that are there to help guide you, push you ahead, because I know how freaking hard this stuff is when you're doing it on your own, right? So this is what the Forge Warrior thrives off of, guys. So I'm talking about like surrounding yourself with like-minded people, surrounding yourself with support, accountability. That's the exact reason I created the brotherhood, right? Surround yourself with a team, community of like-minded men, supporting one another. No one gets left behind. You push at your level. There's no judgment, tough love. To be honest with you, a lot of guys, that's exactly what they need. They need tough love. They need guys to tell them, hey, step your shit up, right? Instead of guys like, hey, it's okay, man. It's all right. You need the guys there to get you out of that comfort zone, to keep you out of that comfort zone, so to speak. Don't let you fall back into it. Don't let you fall back into your old habits, right? You need that type of support. It's all about transformation. That's where it comes into play, right? So, guys, I don't want you to panic with all this information that I just gave you. The key is you just need to gain clarity, right? Why clarity? Well, let me go through clarity here real quick, guys. When you know what to do and you have the clarity, it goes like this. You have confidence, right? So I've had this conversation quite a few times with guys. Like they have an idea of what they need to do. And all this different shit. You don't have confidence, so you don't go through it. You don't put 110% effort behind it, right? When you have confidence, dude, you can make anything work, right? So you got to get that clarity. You got to know specifically what it is you're doing. When you have that, you're going to have the confidence, then you're going to have the focus. You're going to stop bouncing around program to program, or you're going to stop bouncing around nutrition plan to nutrition plan, and you're going to stick with what works. Then you follow through. When you follow through, you gain the consistency, right? Consistency is the key to your success with your nutrition, right? Like I have not once mentioned, like you're going to get results in freaking 2 weeks, right? It needs to be longer than that. You build upon each single day being consistent, right? And so when it comes down to it, when you get the clarity, you have better results, right? And most guys confused, lost, overwhelmed, they don't have that clarity, right? And so that's really what I'm here to do for you guys, is to supply you with that clarity. And so I hope a lot of the stuff that I went over tonight has kind of opened up your eyes a little bit more, has shed more light on the actual shit that really works. Take it to the next step and get you that clarity that you want, right? So let me ask you guys, would you be interested? You can give me like a cyber bump, comment in. If I was to bring you on board, show you exactly what you need to be doing for your nutrition, can take out the confusion, can take out the overwhelm. I can show you the exact path. So we went through dialing up those numbers. How would you like for me to dial up your numbers for you based off of everything I went through plus the more in-depth stuff? Like basically taking out that heavy lifting on your end, right? My guess is you're not a coach, right? You don't do this for a living. This is what I do for a living. So my question to you is, do you want the help? If I was to invite you on to come on board with an 84-day program that gives you the nutrition, right? But not only the nutrition, but the training to go along with it. But not only the training to go along with it, but the accountability, right? Would that be something that you want to get on? That's the question. Bump it. So we got some hell yeses. Definitely interested. It's crazy, crazy. A lot of you guys say you're serious. That's good. You're still with me? So let's go ahead and get in nitty gritty, guys. All right. So obviously the big thing that we've talked about tonight is like the nutrition, right? But what I want you to imagine, what I want you to start thinking about is the man you're going to become, right? Imagine like here we are now. We're a little bit confused. We're a little bit overwhelmed. Don't have the confidence that we want, right? Because at the end of the day, like why, like how is knowing what you need to do with your nutrition going to help improve your life? Well, it's going to help you get leaner, stronger. It's going to help you improve your fitness. In turn, it's going to give you that confidence. You know, it's going to help you build that lean, strong body, you know, whatever. It's going to help you lift that stress, you know, off your shoulders. And so I want you to imagine like the type of man that you're going to become, you know, once we start implementing this stuff in place. So wherever you might be right now, like you might be at the lowest of the low, you might be doing pretty good, you know, whatever it may be, you want to get better, right? And so that's what I want you to really start to think about, like the man that you're going to become. And I got a picture of the dude from 300 because that's basically what I help build is fucking warriors, right? Not guys that are actually going out and like fighting people, but it's a frame of mind. You're a warrior, right? A warrior of life. Like you have the confidence, you have the vigor, you have the energy to go out and do whatever it is you want to do in life, right? And so I want you to start thinking about that. And that's really where the Forge Warrior Project comes in, right? And so it's basically helping men like you transform. It goes well beyond nutrition. Like the nutrition that we talked about tonight is just one little small piece of what it is we do inside the Forge Warrior, right? So giving you guys a little bit more detail on this, It's basically about building yourself into a badass. And I talked about that at the very beginning. Like, what is a badass? A badass is basically a warrior, right? A man that's lean, strong, confident, has energy, right? That's what it's about. It's destroying the wannabe, right? Who might be, or at one time was depressed, filled with anxiety, utter confusion. What I'm trying to do is help you regain that power back, right? And another conversation that I have with a lot of guys quite a bit is, guys are in their late 30s, their 40s. They just want to feel like they're back in their 20s again. They want that power back. They used to have that energy, that drive, that vigor back in their 20s, and they want to get it back. And so that's what we do. That's a big part of what the Forge Warrior Project does, is we get that back, right? But it's basically increasing your energy so you can be the man you want to be, playing with your kids if you got kids, having energy and focus to put in on your wife, right? Your girlfriend or your friends, changing your life there, man. But, being the guy that walks in the room that basically, gets the head turning, right? Guys are looking at you. What the hell's that dude doing? People are coming up to you asking for advice, right? Like, you want to be that guy, have that respect. So, Forge Warrior Project, give you a little in-depth of what this thing is, right? Step by step, we will forge you into a new man, right? Step one, we rewire your brain. We do that through the warrior codes. So you start thinking and acting like a warrior who's confident, focused, and driven. Step two, we do what we just talked about, all right? We fix your fuel. And we do that by implementing in some simple rules and principles into your lifestyle that anyone can do. And we just skimmed the surface tonight with how the fuel works in the Forge Warrior. What you'll discover is exactly how you need to fuel your body, right? Step three, we build you into a weapon, all right, from the ground up via more strength, power, athleticism, fitness. We didn't even hit on training tonight, but chances are a lot of you might not be training properly. You may think you're doing what you need to be doing as far as training goes, but again, that's a conversation that I commonly have, that guys are traditionally doing like bro splits and shit ton of cardio, and it's a lot of wasted effort and time, all right? And so basically what we do with the Forge Warrior is we dial that shit in with training that works, and we turn your body into a weapon, meaning you're strong, you're functional, you're athletic, right? We build you into a lean machine. But that's the next step. And then step four, we essentially eliminate the wannabe. We eliminate your old self, that guy that you used to be, that you're currently right now. Just imagine yourself in 12 weeks, right? The type of man that you're going to be. And I basically created this for you guys. So with those quick details just being released, like, who's still on board? Like, who wants to get in on this? Comment in. Man, we've been at this thing for about an hour and 15 minutes now. So if you're still on, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll go into some more details on how you guys can get in on this, but let me know if you're still here. Sean's still here. Patrick's still here. Reese is still here. Badass, fellas. So let's continue this, all right? So what do you get inside the Forge Warrior Project exactly, all right? Well, you're going to discover the keys to your nutritional freedom. We already talked about that. You're never going to have to worry about some BS strict diet. You're going to discover how to use intermittent fasting, carb cycling, carb backloading, fueling yourself for performance, prepping for big events. Again, a lot of the stuff that we talked about tonight, just skimming the surface, guys, right? You're going to discover basically how to eat more, burn more, how to rebuild your metabolism, basically. All good stuff, right? No supplements needed, right? And you'll have the foundation you need for lifelong results, right? What do you get? The hybrid regimen, all right? This is basically the training that we follow inside the Forge Warrior to help mold you into a fucking weapon, like I discussed, right? So you're going to be stronger, faster, more athletic, fitter. It gives you pretty much everything you need in one shot instead of doing the old traditional, you know, bodybuilding routine where you're doing all legs or all upper body and then you do a bunch of cardio. Like, it's none of that type bullshit. Like, it's completely different from probably anything you've done before, right? But it's all done in a progressive manner. So you build and you build and you build instead of a lot of guys, they try to build too quick, they get themselves injured, right? And so with what we do, it's step by step, done in a progressive manner, right? Hybrid regimen, again, build you into a stronger, fitter, more explosive, more mobile, agile, and what I like to say, resilient as fuck human being, basically, right? Build yourself up from the ground up. And not only are you going to discover how to obviously train hard, but a missing piece that a lot of guys overlook is that recovery component, right? And so a big piece that you'll discover within the Forge Warrior is how to properly recover so we can keep training, so we can keep coming back week after week after week after week, month after month, year after year, that longevity, right? And so, tip of the iceberg here, Forge Warrior Brotherhood, I already mentioned that. This is your support system, your brotherhood, all right? It's all guys going through the same thing, who have each other's backs, who are there to lift you up, right? And chances are, like a lot of guys, you know, they do this stuff and they don't have the support, right? They don't have that extra guidance or that extra accountability. This is another conversation that I have quite a bit. Guys are trying to do this stuff. They get a little bit of motivation. They get a little bit of momentum rolling forward, and then boom, they fall off track again. And then before they know it, they're, you know, back at square one. And so the biggest piece here is the Warrior Brotherhood, which is going to help you keep it all together, right? So that's what you'll have. But obviously, if you're watching this now live or on the replay, you just got to understand, like, this isn't for every guy, right? Like, I didn't design this to be for every guy. Like, you gotta be willing to work hard. Obviously, it's not going to be a quick fix BS gimmick. Like, I've already gone through that already within just the nutritional stuff. Like, it's going to be long-term sustainable results. Like, it's going to be a process where this stuff's not going to happen overnight, right? So it's going to be a life-changing system, you know, lifetime results, right? And this is only for the guys who are, you know, willing to step up now and accept that change. So I talked about that at the very start, right? Like, whatever you've been doing, you know, it hasn't been working. So you got to be willing to accept that change, step up, and you know, get outside that comfort zone, right? So, I mean, if you'd rather just keep doing the same old thing, it's not for you, right? So if you're still here, what's up, fellas? Patrick says, no, thank you. That's all right, man. Not everybody is a good fit for this stuff. So, Kirby, my man, you're interested. Maurice, you're here. Sean, you said no, thank you either. That's totally cool, man. That's totally cool. Looks like a lot of you guys want on board. So here's the deal, guys. All right. So here's just a quick overview of everything you get in this thing. So 12-week Forge Warrior project. You're going to get the Forge Warrior 4 core system. Basically, what that is, think of like the last 10 years of everything I've been doing. I've basically taken out the bits and pieces of everything that works, and I've put it into this 4 core system, right? Forge Fuel nutritional system. So we hit on the very top surface of that stuff tonight. You're basically going to discover exactly how you need to eat. Lifelong access to the Forge Warrior Brotherhood. So once you're in for life. So you have lifelong access to that. And honestly, guys, like this brotherhood, it's something very, very special to me. And so that's one of the reasons I don't let anybody and everybody into this thing. because once you're in, I mean, it's exactly what it is. It's a brotherhood, right? And so there's a lot of stuff that we do in this brotherhood: live Q&As, one-to-one support, accountability, all that good stuff, right? But the bottom line, guys, all you need to know, is this program is going to give you the clarity, it's going to give you the support, and it's going to give you the direction so you can get the damn results that you want. If you want to continue to guess, if you want to continue to try to piece it all together on your own, that's totally cool. That's totally up to you. But if you want fast track to results, fast track to getting what it is you want, this is the path right here. So if you're ready to step up, this is what you need to do, guys. All right. This is what you need to do. You need to send a text message to me. All right. There's not a sign up page. I'm not sending you some link where you can just sign up. There is a barrier of entry. All right. That first barrier of entry is you got to take action. You got to step up. You got to get outside your comfort zone. You and I, we're going to talk. We're going to chat. You and I, face to face. I want to see what it is you're struggling with exactly. I want to see what it is you want. I want to see why it is you haven't gotten what you want yet. And if the Forge Warrior is a good path for you, it's a good fit, we'll take the next steps on getting you on board. If it's not, we'll still get some resources in your hand moving you forward, right? And so this is the next step, guys. Send me a text message. Once you send me a text message, I will reply back to you. We'll get you set up for a chat. It's that simple. But here's what you need to do, guys. Send me a text message. I want you to send in that text message, warrior. All you got to do is say warrior. I'll know exactly what you're talking about. Well, actually, let's say this. So if you are listening still, I want you to say, I'm ready to be the warrior. That's what I want you to say in the text. Okay, so if you're still on watching this live or you're watching the replay, text to 402-337-2144. Don't give that number out, please. Text, I'm ready to be the warrior. I'll get that text. I'll know exactly what you're talking about. We'll go from there. And yeah, we'll see if you're a good fit. But yeah, guys, your options, I mean, your options are pretty much here, right? Keep doing the same thing. Chances are that hasn't been working out for you. You can go back to what you were doing before and keep doing the same old thing. And you can basically wish for change. All right. And I'm sure you guys know what the definition of insanity is, right? Like just doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result, right? You can always go the cheap route, go get a $27 ebook, go on Instagram, do that stuff. Or you can take a chance, go into the unknown, take massive action, right? Acknowledge you need the help, ready yourself for change, and run right into the unknown, right? Become a new man. That's what it's about, guys. But I'm here to help guide you there, right? Step up to the challenge, get the support, the accountability, the direction you need, right? So I'm going to leave this up for a couple more minutes. All right, Patrick, got you, man. Sean, yeah, you guys must have understood you guys, but yeah, you guys are still here. So yeah, if you guys want on board, here's the next step, guys. Shoot a text message, 402-337-2144. Again, I'm ready to be the warrior. That's what you need to text to me. I'll see that. I'll know exactly what you're talking about. I'll reply to you. I'll shoot you a link where you'll be able to set up a time where you and I will chat, and we'll take the steps ahead on getting you moved forward. That's the goal for me. Either way, if you come on board the Forge Warrior, great. If not, I want to push you to the next level. I want to get you moving in the right direction. I want to get you unstuck, right? So that's the biggest thing. So you do that, great. I'll be talking to you soon. If you don't, I hope you enjoyed all the information that we went through tonight. I hope you have some sort of clarity in regards to like how nutrition actually works. Gave you some good tactics. Well, broke down some tactics and then gave you some specific steps that you can be taking to help dial your nutrition in. But yeah, if you're wanting to dial in all this stuff and put it all together, training, nutrition, accountability, Forge Warrior Project, that's the next step. That's the best piece of anything I can give you to take you to the next level. So 402-337-2144. Send a text message. I am ready to be the warrior. Ready to be the warrior. Shoot me that text and we'll go from there, man. But thank you for coming on. Sean, I'll be looking forward to chatting with you, man. Patrick, looking forward to chatting with you too. And I see my phone is blowing up right now, so it looks like there's been about 4 or 5 of you texts. So, hell yeah, fellas. But if you got any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, theforgedwarrior@gmail.com. If you got questions, reach out. I'm here for you. But other than that, guys, I'm closing it down. I will reply to you guys who are texting me, and we'll go from there. And be the fucking warrior. That's it. Until the next one, guys. I'm out.